April 20th, 1993 marked the day I stepped foot into the world again after my time in boys' school. It felt surreal. The conditions of my release echoed in my mind. No contact with anyone from back home, and I had to go to school. I figured that would be a cinch. I wasn't trying to mess with the police again. When my mom picked me up from the bus station, I was overwhelmed. The familiar yet distant sight of my neighborhood stood before me like an old friend. As I got home, my gaze landed on my little sister, Christine. She was barely a baby when I went in, and now she was walking and talking, this tiny whirlwind of energy who had just begun to discover the world. After I dropped my bags in my room, the nostalgia of being home washed over me. I quickly hopped into the shower, trying to scrub off the remnants of boys' school and the weight of change. Emerging, I threw on my Dickies and a blue flannel, feeling like I was slipping back into my old skin. But the streets were no longer the same. Stepping outside, I felt the pulse of the neighborhood anew. It was as if a different vibe had taken over. We used to be BGDs, but now, somehow we had dropped the B and rebranded ourselves as GD, a new identity in a world that had shifted while I was away. I told my mom I'd see her later and hit the streets, eager to reconnect with everything I had missed. I drifted through familiar blocks, but every corner seemed to whisper stories of chaos and change. The gossip enveloped me like a thick fog. Hootie, my homie, just got locked up, and the streets had been buzzing with tales of loss and violence. Did you hear about folks Harvey? They say he got shot in the face. The thought sent a jolt through me. Harvey was one of the names that echoed in our circles, part of the crew. And Polo, man, they say he beat that guy nearly to death, and now he's locked up for it. The relentless cycle of brutality seemed so drastic. Then there were the whispers about big folks, too, who caught a bullet in the nose. Life had moved on, but the cost had been steep. I couldn't shake the feeling that so much then changed since I've been gone. T-Bone and Ski were in jail for armed robbery. The folks said to me, then at that moment, two of the folks walk in and we all shake hands throwing up our gang signs. Dinky and Jamal, what's happening, G, I say to them. They say to me nothing but this G thing. And then we sit for a minute, chopping it up. Dinky then reaches in his pocket and pulls out some weed. He then rolls up a blunt, lights it up, and takes a big-ass hit and starts choking and coughing. Then he passed the blunt around the room. Now everyone's high as hell, laid back, while Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre's new album, The Chronic, is playing loudly in the background. I look at Jamal and say, where the folks at? He says to me, the folks on Smith Street always keeps a whole bunch of baddies around. I then say to him, let's walk over there. I'm fresh out of boys' school. I want to see some baddies. They agreed, and we begin to walk.